HOA Karen versus the Valley owner. No title inside, just the story flow. When I returned to my family's old valley cabin after 10 years, I expected peace, not a welcome committee with flashing lights. The moment my truck touched the gravel road, a woman in a neon HOA vest came storming out like she owned the world. "Private property. You can't be here," she yelled, waving a clipboard like it was a weapon. I calmly told her, "Ma'am, this is my family's cabin. I'm here to restore it." But she wasn't listening. She squinted at me, snapped pictures of my license plate, and said, "We don't allow outsiders here. I'm calling the police." I thought she was bluffing. She wasn't. Within minutes, 2 officers arrived. They approached me cautiously, and the HOA president stood behind them smirking like she'd already won. "Sir, we received a trespassing complaint," one officer said. I opened my backpack, pulled out a large leather folder, and handed them a document. "Before you make any decisions," I said, "you might want to read this." The HOA Karen crossed her arms. "Whatever paperwork you have doesn't matter. This community is under my authority." One officer raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, this deed says he doesn't just own the cabin." The other officer read further, eyes widening. "It says he owns the entire valley." The HOA president's smirk shattered. I explained. "My grandfather bought this land decades ago, 47 square miles. Every road, every trail, and every cabin built without permission is technically sitting on my land." She went pale. I continued, "I've stayed away for years, but now I'm restoring everything, including removing unauthorized structures." Her voice cracked. What do you mean unauthorized?" I pointed to her house on the hill. "That one, for example. Built 5 feet over the boundary line. I could have it removed." She looked like she might faint. The officers cleared their throats. "Ma'am, he's the landowner. You were the one tresp." I turned to her and said, "But I'm not unreasonable. The community can stay if the HOA dissolves immediately." She didn't speak. She just nodded, shaking. Within 48 hours, the HOA was gone. The signs were removed. The rules vanished. For the first time in years, the valley was peaceful. And the best part? The former HOA president now had to ask me for permission to use the same road she once tried to ban me from. Turns out, she should have checked who really owned the valley before she tried to control it. Attempting unauthorized access. "Yes," she actually said, non-approved. As she waited for the sheriff, she paced back and forth, muttering rules and violations under her breath. That's when I got out of my truck, walked around the back, and retrieved a long, old leather tube. Inside it were the original engineering blueprints for the mountain road. Blueprints with my father's name on them. Blueprints that changed everything. She sneered. "What is that, a map from a cereal box?" I ignored her and unrolled the document across the barricade. Golden stamped seal. County engineering signature. Year, 1984. My father had not only designed the road, he had built it and kept the ownership rights. She squinted at the blueprint and scoffed. Fake. Totally fake. Right then, the sheriff truck pulled up, crunching gravel under its tires. Sheriff Dalton, a man who'd known my father for decades, stepped out. Karen ran to him dramatically. "Arrest him. He's trying to break into HOA property." The sheriff looked at me, then at her, then at the barricade. "Ma'am, this is the Ridge Road." She nodded aggressively. "Yes, our road." He sighed, the tired sigh of a man who had explained basic things too many times. "Ma'am, this road doesn't belong to the HOA. It belongs to the person who built it." He turned to me. "Your father's old papers." I handed him the blueprint. He studied it, nodded, then showed it to her. The HOA president's face drained of color. But we manage this road. We collect fees." The sheriff's voice deepened. "You've been charging residents illegal maintenance fees for a road you don't own. You've been blocking access illegally. That's a crime." Her hands trembled. "My lawyer said." "Your lawyer was wrong," he said bluntly. She looked like she might pass out. I simply said, "I'm just going home." Sheriff Dalton moved the barricade aside himself. I turned to her and said, "But I'm not unreasonable. The community can stay if the HOA dissolves immediately. She didn't speak. She just nodded, shaking. Within 48 hours, the HOA was gone. The signs were removed. The rules vanished. For the first time in years, the valley was peaceful. And the best part? The former HOA president now had to ask me for permission to use the same road she once tried to ban me from. Turns out, she should have checked who really owned the valley before she tried to control it. But this story wasn't over. 2 days later, a county meeting was held. Residents attended, confused and angry. When they learned the truth, that the HOA had no authority over the road, no rights, no ownership, people erupted. One woman shouted, "I paid $900 last year for road fees." Another man yelled, "She threatened to tow my truck for parking on the road." The county investigator declared the final decision. The road belongs solely to the family of the original engineer. HOA has zero jurisdiction. They dissolved the HOA's road committee instantly. Refund requests piled up. People started apologizing to me for the treatment. And Karen? The next morning, she showed up at my lodge doorstep, holding a plate of burnt cookies and a forced smile. So, can I still use the road for my morning walks?" I nodded. "Of course. Just don't block people. And no more pretending you own the mountain." She nodded quickly, too quickly, and rushed away. That road symbolized more than ownership. It was my father's legacy. And I wasn't letting anyone rewrite it. Funny thing is, people fear losing control. But sometimes, they never had it to begin with. And Karen learned that the hard way. Never block a man from a road when he's the one who built it.